Hey everyone, I'm Alfred. Welcome back to Halo. Uh, as you may be able to see, I'm still wearing the same shirt. It's actually just been a day, not even a day in fact, it's been a couple of hours since I recorded this. Oh, sad how you do. Oh, luckily I don't care. And you know what? This is the last one in here, so... Oh, good. I can actually play Spartan Ops. That's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna play Halo 4. So I've not beaten Halo 4, but I did start it, but it was years ago that I did so. And I quit, like, partway through the second real level. So, who knows? I will play on normal. Because, again, I'm new for this. Oh good, Halsey. I don't think it's a secret I hate Dr. Halsey.
Tell me about the children. Dr. Halsey.
You already know everything.
You kidnapped them.
Children's minds are more easily accepting of indoctrination. Their bodies more adaptable to augmentation.
Well, that makes
The
it
result
okay.
was the ultimate soldier.
I see wearing his new one.
And because of our success, when the Covenant invaded, we were ready.
Ignore that other thing now.
Dr. Halsey, you're bending history for your own favor, and you know it.
Yeah, that thing.
You developed the Spartans to crush human rebellion, not to fight the Covenant.
Yeah, very minor detail that no one talks about in Halo,
One
but
human world after another fell.
the Spartans were built to
When my
murder a whole
Spartans
bunch of
were
people.
all that stood between
Like, just
humanity
human
and
people who were
extinction,
upset with
nobody was concerned
the
about
Earth government.
why
And by
they
that, I,
were
of course,
originally
mean
built.
Space America,
So you feel in the end your choices were justified.
obviously.
My work saved the human race.
Hashtag girl boss.
Do you think the Spartans' lack of basic humanity helped?
What are you after? The others before you were naval intelligence, but you're something else.
Space naval.
Records show Spartans routinely exhibited mildly sociopathic tendencies, difficulty with socialization and
The
verbalization.
records show efficient behavior operating in hazardous situations.
Both of those things could be true.
I supplied the tools to maintain that efficiency.
Do you believe the Master Chief succeeded because he was, at his core, broken?
What does John have to do with this? You want to replace him?
Why wouldn't we?
The Master Chief is dead.
His file reads missing in action.
Yeah, so do 5,200 other
Catherine.
Spartans that are all dead.
Spartans never die.
Your mistake is seeing Spartans as military hardware.
Do you not
My
see them as
Spartans
military
are
assets,
humanity's
Dr. Halsey?
next step. Our destiny as a species.
Oh my god, she's a
Do
complete
not
maniac.
underestimate them. But most of all, do not underestimate.
When did Dr. Halsey become a fucking Resident Evil villain? She was always evil, just, you know, working for the side of good. It's been 4 years, holy shit. Short nap, huh? Link got a century. Aang got a century. 4 years. There's only one new Earth, Earth president in the meantime. Like, you've not missed anything. So yeah, let it be known, I hate Dr. Halsey. If that wasn't clear. So one thing that Halo 4 does is that like it does a lot of things that I really don't agree with. There's way more cutscenes and also like cutscenes that you play. And like very basic QuickTime events, and like I'll be honest, I actually don't hate QuickTime events myself, you know? I like Resident Evil 4. I like QuickTime events, you know? Did they change Cortana's like jaw and teeth? I feel like they did. If you guys want to hear me complain about something, just get ready. My disagreements with Halo 4, I imagine, will only get worse. I also know that I'm not even alone with that.
Chief. I need you.
I do like that, you know? I talked about it at the end of the last LP yesterday, but like, he says, wake me when you need me. She says, I need you. It's not bad. It's pretty good, actually.
Been out for a while.
He's probably been out for longer than
We're
this.
still adrift on the Dawn.
Why did you wake me?
Hang on. Bringing your systems online now.
Don't answer my question or anything.
I rewrote your ship's firmware while you were out.
You've been busy.
Activating the ship's gravity generators.
So yeah, like there's way more stuff of like
Before
this
the manual release.
in Halo 4. That's not gonna fly. Stuff like hold on. Is there a reach? Oh man, this would normally be one of those things that you do before you start. Y'all, I want to be able to hit the button with I want to be able to hit melee with my hand. I hate melee being B. Bumper jumper is not. That is not the move. Ever I have seen one. There we go. Was it already on there? I hope not. But yeah, like, look at this, like, Fallout 4 shit.
Seems like old times.
Ready to
We're
get
waking up in a big-ass pod.
I thought you'd never ask.
There's song and dance talking. You know, were this a classic
Intrusion
Halo,
alerts lighting up on multiple decks.
this would have camera angles and we could just skip
Our
it, you
best
know?
bet to figure out who's boarding us is the observation deck, 4 floors up.
Could it be a rescue team?
Wouldn't bet on it.
They now subtitle, things in, that's the speed at which I look at things? Or do I just have a huge dead zone? Oh, Lord. No, yeah, it is really low. Better.
How long was I out?
4 years, 7 months, 10 days.
Somebody should have found us by now.
Big noise.
What's that?
Sensor scan, high intensity. Doesn't match any known patterns.
How close are we to the observation deck?
It's directly above us.
I wonder what we will be doing to get up.
Chief, be careful.
But yeah, stuff like this has never been a thing. Where did those crates come from?
Lost pressure.
But yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. We're like,
Chief, watch out!
how have we?
Didn't realize this ship had deteriorated so badly.
How have we got to this already? You know, like the Halo trilogy, and also the other one, and that other one. Don't worry about it. That's a silly prompt.
Truce with the Covenant.
A lot can happen in 4 years. Either way, he's probably not alone. We should be careful.
That's not what I've hit. But like, I don't agree with how okay. Why can I not hit this button, you guys? Okay. Perfect. Oh yeah, so there's all kinds of new weapons. I remember seeing a lot of these all over the place. But yeah, so like, we've already gotten to a thing where we have so much more stuff going on in gameplay besides just like you know. Okay, so it's like a battle rifle, but a Covenant weapon. That's cool. Oh, you can actually hold it down. And it overshoots. That's kind of cool. I like this gun. So I'm just watching to see how the stuff
That's the last of them.
goes away.
Find the override for the blast shield so we can see what we're up against.
But yeah, like it's a problem that I feel like I don't need to worry about with
The good news
other
is
Halos,
these
but there's
Covenant
so much
are
stuff of
outfitted
like how
standard
Chief just
military.
reaches out
It's
to push a
possible
button
we
and
just
there's an
came across a
animation.
rogue salvage ship.
Like,
Or we
I
might
feel like that's a little unnecessary, you know? It makes the story mode so much more story-y.
That's one possibility. Landing craft flanking us.
Like, the story mode is so much more like... I don't even know how to put this. Nice. Is that supposed to be the grunt sound? That's not how grunts sound. Did they change all the sound effects? Because that would be a silly choice to make, I think. One thing that they did do that people hate this, but I don't. I like it. You always have a sprint. No matter what, you will always be able to run. That's kind of
Get
awesome.
off this ship.
We've
It's
got
really
bigger
useful.
problems.
You'll always be able to have a
We've
run
got a
and
cruiser
something
on an
else.
intercept course.
Because like in Reach,
Head for the
sprint is
elevator
so
base.
useful, you feel like a schmuck for
Already,
giving it up.
The ship defense is online.
But you feel like a loser
Only the
for
Hyperion
keeping
missiles,
sprint,
but we'll
because
have
it's
to
the
fire
most
them manually
boring,
from the
generic,
outer
basic
hull.
ability, and it's default. And you want to have all the cool, exciting things. But, you know, you feel like you gotta stick with sprint. And that sucks, you know? Just having sprint be a part of the kit makes sense. Like, it's not as though Spartans move particularly fast to begin with. And something that was mentioned about sprint was that it was invented by Cat to be, like, it's an overclocking of Mjolnir armor's natural parameters. They're just giving me these things like candy. It's like an overclocking of a Spartan's natural parameters, which I think is kind of silly and unnecessary. Like, does the Mjolnir armor actually stop you from sprinting? Or, like, doing anything besides a gentle walk?
That cruiser's shields are down.
They sound like Animal Crossing
If
characters,
they don't
man.
raise them, that missile's gonna be one heck of a surprise.
Is there any reason that the shields are down, or? Ah, we traded. I feel as though I've already heard Chief talk more in, like, the first little bit here than I heard him speak in the trilogy. You know? Like, Chief typically doesn't talk at all in gameplay.
Fanatical than the ones we fought before.
Really? Do they really seem that much more fanatical? Because to me, that more sounds like the thing that certain bad writers will do, to be like, oh, this guy's like nothing you've ever seen before. He's totally new. He makes that other guy look like shit. Which is, you know, lazy writing. The Kneeler looks fantastic.
How far did we miss
One
it?
thing I'll say is that this game
We're
looks
just
really
about
good.
there.
Glass. My old nemesis. I'm glad that the Covenant finally have some sort of like a rifle. Because the plasma rifle, like, they call it that, but it's really just a pistol that shoots quickly. And I don't like that much, you know? The plasma rifle's kind of cool, but the repeater looks cooler. And I feel better about using it, but, like, the plasma rifle is everywhere. I want to get one of the cool... Ooh, big boy. Because all those rad animations that you get from Reach are back in, and I love that. That's great. Another great thing to add from Reach. Glass, again. How exactly are these guys more fanatical, do you think? What makes them fanatical? Like, as though the space jihad that was going to be suicide for almost everybody involved wasn't enough of fanaticism.
You'll have to prime the launch for ignition.
Cortana.
It's nothing. Just get to the launch station.
What could it possibly be, Chief? Oh, you're back. Or no, you're not. This is something new. Okay. It's just the battle rifle. Okay. Well, it looks nice. Yeah, 36 bullets. Anyway, for those who don't know, in the Halo universe, there's a thing called rampancy. There are two kinds of artificial intelligence: dumb AIs and smart AIs. Dumb AIs are things that'll work forever and run whole cities. You know, they are...
Need to find the missile controls.
Oh my god, I'm working on it. You know, dumb AIs are like Virgil in ODST. They do their own thing, make their own money. They're reliable, they're not going to shit out on you when you need them. And then you got smart AIs. And smart AIs can learn, but on the flip side of that, they also have 7 years before they go fucking crazy. Because when you take the moon and you take the sun... Sorry, train of thought. When you take the intelligence of a human without the formative years of childhood and then multiply that by how fast computers have gotten, people just go absolutely crazy. And there was a gun. I guess it floated away. Are you him? It is. That looks nice. That's a tasty looking gun, my mans. Fantastic. Marvelous, in fact. Another thing about Chief... Nope. Stay on topic. So yeah, rampancy is a thing that happens at 7 years, loosely 7 years, for every single AI ever built that is not, you know, a dumb automated AI. If an AI can learn, then it's at risk of rampancy. If it has to be programmed to get new information, then you're pretty much in the clear. And for those of you who watched my marathon LP, you will likely recognize rampancy from it, because it's from there originally. Bungie loves it. They brought it into Halo, and we'll likely bring it into we'll likely bring it into Destiny if they haven't already. In the same way that they keep naming guns after the same things across every... This isn't what that guy had. The same way they keep naming guns across all their franchises the same way. Or they keep naming AIs after the paladins or their swords, which is what Cortana is, and Durandal for that matter.
Right, the blast door's jammed. The missile won't fire until it's cleared. Get down there.
I gotta do everything myself, huh? I mean, no different from business as usual, I guess. Not easy being chief, huh? Can I just...
You did it! Get back!
Thank you, guys. Anyway, Cortana's been active for more than 7 years now. Like, as though the 4-year time skip wouldn't put her into rampancy, her path towards rampancy has been accelerated because of her tango with the Gravemind and all of the stuff on the Covenant votes.
Covenant weren't the ones scanning us.
So now can we worry about the giant metal planet?
How dumb is Chief supposed to be?
He's using a gravity well to pull us inside
Because,
the
you know,
surface.
much like
Gotta hurry.
Warhammer
If we cross
40k,
the dome's event horizon, its atmosphere is going to tear us apart.
Where are the closest
Halo loves to jerk off how strong and powerful every single soldier
I'm
is,
tagging the
and like how many
closest
billions of
airlock. Go.
dollars every individual soldier cost, and how much training every Spartan went through, yada yada, etc., etc. And I want to say that they've even mentioned that Chief has had an IQ test and that he's got like a 3 billion IQ or something really high. So one wonders how he hasn't immediately put together that Cortana's Gravemind. considering that, like, if you have any AI, it should be the first thing on your mind.
Just keep it pointed at vehicle bay.
Like, in the same way that owning a dog, you should be like, okay, don't let him eat chocolate. And that should always just be a thing for you, you know? Especially if you're, like, you know, a person who eats chocolate frequently. Or like, I own a cat, better not eat a lot of, you know, better not feed them any food with garlic in it. There we go. You know, I have an AI buddy. Better make sure they don't get to 70 years old, or else they'll get really fucked up and go nuts and try to kill everyone is the main issue.
Hold on!
But yeah, Chief's supposed to be smart, so who knows if he has any idea that this is happening to Cortana or not through, you know,
We're caught in the gravity well.
Can you track the escape pods?
through the nature of the storytelling here. Halo 4. But yeah, already, like, I'm impressed by the graphics, not really by anything else. Because as I mentioned, I don't like the shift from just a straight shooter and then cutscenes will happen, but they're always skippable, to having, like, extended sequences where you're just walking and talking, or, you know, doing puzzles or doing things like that. Like, it's not really Halo to me. And I know that this is supposed to be, like, new Halo, but you also can really, really tell that they wanted this to be old Halo again. Why bother putting a shot on his hand? Chief has fallen from greater heights than this already. In fact, in the last game, he had fallen from a greater height. That gelator could take anything. Right, I've been bitching enough. I should say some good things. I love the redesign for Chief's armor. I think making the plating a little thicker and heavier.
Cortana,
I'm sorry. It's the crash. I'm fine.
It's just
something
fucking
was wrong even before we left the
great
dawn.
crash of 1998.
Really? I'm fine.
Yeah.
Cortana,
Yeah, I love how, like, his shoulder plates
I was put in
slide
service
over
8 years
his...
ago.
Oh, what a surprise.
8 years.
I love how his shoulder plates slide over his body
AIs
now, and that they're
deteriorate after 7,
huge,
Chief.
chunky shoulder pads. I love the little spikes on the front of his helmet, the little
We
things
need
that
to
are, like,
find Halsey.
here.
Chief, please.
She made you. She can fix you.
I won't.
Well, it's
recover
never
from
been
rampant
done
sleep,
before,
Chief.
but you are the Master Chief.
If we can just get back to Earth. and
You know,
find
it's not as
Halsey,
though
she can fix this.
Chief is being ridiculous by suggesting that he could do something that has never been done before by anyone else, considering he's done that like 8 or 9 times.
We need to move.
Anyway, I love how there's slightly darker colors in his armor. Like,
Doesn't look like the Covenant.
I love
fared
how
much
the
better than
the
we did.
black is
How many ships made it through?
so much more black. I also love how the black is
Why?
like carbon
Still
fiber.
need a ride home.
You know, it looks carbon fiber. Ah, somebody left the last one. Somebody must have shot themselves with that gun. Why else would one be empty? Yeah, I love the look of his armor. The greens are so much more metallic and rad. The blacks look so much more striking. There's more black as well. Pardon me, I'm just gonna... Nice. But yeah, the black, the green, it works better than I think it did on the Mjolnir. The Mjolnir, like, it's iconic, but it just looks a little generic to me. Just because, like, oh, that's cool. It's now 3 and 2 instead of just 1 row of 5. That's kind of nice. That's the storm. I like that there's like a new generic Covenant infantry weapon. I really like that.
There's a crevice we can use to get through the rocks over there.
Lord knows I love a
Waypoint
good
on the
crevice.
HUD. What is that? Chief, see if that terminal is still active.
Did I
The
do it?
Covenant have been broadcasting that from an equidistant orbit every 30 minutes for the last 3 years.
They've been waiting outside the planet for 3 years.
Apparently, they couldn't get in.
Well, lucky on the day that I show up. I get in.
I'm picking up a faint transmission. on
And
the
yeah, that's
highway.
another thing. Stuff like this.
Covenant?
I don't think so. The pattern's different. I'll try to triangulate its position.
The little pop-ups on screen to just tell you that story's happening. I don't know, I agree with that. This looks great. I will say, this looks fantastic. It is hard to top Halo. And I don't think that the Arc in 3 does so. But, like, this looks really good. Even seeing Halo in 1 with Reach's graphics, you know, like, it is just a big circle in space. This has some more stuff going on. There's moving parts. There's the inherent floating stuff of it. But yeah, back in the old days of Halo, the rule was that the Covenant were advanced above
Nice to see
humans in
Buffy's holding out.
technology, and the Forerunners were advanced above them. And I think now we're fighting the Precursors or something, and they're even more advanced. Now, I'm not exactly sure where Cortana got the goodies to refurbish my suit.
Chief, about my condition, I didn't want to mention it, seeing as how it's a complete long shot, but since you brought it up, it is possible that getting home could help me find a solution for my rampancy.
How?
Well, as far as I know, I'm the only AI ever generated from living tissue. A clone of Dr. Halsey, to be precise.
This is true. Cloning was
It may
outlawed.
be possible to recompile my neural net by replicating those same conditions. But that means getting back to Halsey soon.
Cortana, we might have to sack you off. I don't want to see Dr. Halsey. Rip to y'all, but I'm different. But yeah, cloning's outlawed, which means that Dr. Halsey has done a lot of it. When she kidnapped all those children to turn them into living weapons,
I'm curious.
and the fucking next stage of human evolution, as I'm just finding out she wanted to do,
Hostiles.
she cloned a whole bunch of them with intent to... That sounds pretty okay. She cloned a whole bunch of children with intent to just basically swap them right over. And that's just what she did. All the children that she kidnapped were replaced by brain-dead clones who then mysteriously got some weird illness. And then all died a couple of days later. Better not ask questions about it. If you go to the doctor, they'll just, you know, notify the government that you went to the doctor to try to find out what happened to your weird clone kid. You got a little thing as well. The shooting on this feels a lot quicker. They probably reduced the damage to compensate, but you know what? That's fine. I love the big, like, they're almost like Ava fins. Like the big spikes on Chief's shoulders. That's great. What action figure is this Chief? I don't have one. I think I might have one of, like, the 3 Chiefs, but I think I don't actually have any action figures of Chief. I think they're all of, like, I guess generic Spartans, but they're of, you know, the various creator characters from Halos 3 and Reach. I guess I don't really have that much of a problem with Master Chief as a character. But, like, I still feel like he's talking so much. I feel like he barely talked at all ever, and now he just won't shut up. Not entirely sure how I feel about that, you know? Oh man, I haven't even used this thing. Pistol feels good.
If we're going to hijack a ship from these Covenant, we're going to have to find where they're landing first.
I don't suppose you have a plan for that.
We could always ask nicely.
Asking's not my strong suit.
Oof. Gotta say, that's a red flag. I like the sound of it. Of that thing. Where it's just like a toom, you know? Because that's what it should be. It should just be this huge fuck off storm of plat. Just leaving, you know? Just getting the hell out of where it lies. That's great, and I like that. Thank you. Good Magnum. Might honestly be my favorite Magnum. Like, of the Spartan guns, my favorite Halo pistol is still the one from ODST. But as guns go, that one's pretty solid. They really sound like Animal Crossing villagers, though. And they're so short as well. Oh yeah, one thing. Chief looks as though he's got a little more Dorito in his body. I guess I should explain what I mean by that. His torso is more triangular. Because, like, in Halo 1 through 3, his body feels kind of like... How do I put this? Like, straight. Oh, he's stuffed. Yeah, his body just feels like a perfectly straight thing. That guy's such an asshole. This is why I hate the Jackals. Lord knows that I've commented much on how I despise them and their entire race, but... You deserved a more painful death, but that's all I can do for now. I love that they bounce. It's very good.
That elite dropped his camo
Nice.
module. Let's have a look.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I guess that's why the sounds all sound different in Halo 2 Remake.
I'll run a soft patch to it from the suit. Never know what might come in handy.
And I can just turn invisible. Neat. And yeah, you can have your armor ability and sprint, as I mentioned earlier. And boy, is that a necessary change. I really agree with that. I think that that should have been in the game for way longer. Like, so many people accuse it of being like a Call of Duty for having sprint just be a thing now that you can do always, but like, I really disagree with that. I think
I heard something that time.
being able to control your movement and getting options should always be a thing, you know?
Sentinels.
Always a proponent of more gameplay options rather than less. Because, you know, obviously, if you have to have less gameplay options, have all of them be executed very well. You know? And, like, with the things that they add in, like, Halo, all of them get executed better and better every time, with equipment becoming this, like, one-use item that, you know, is kind of useful, but you usually forget about it unless you're really stuck.
Chief, a console in the back.
And then armor abilities becoming a thing that just completely change how you play the game every time.
It's a
Oh yeah,
localized sight
his
cartography.
visor, like the orange of his visor is more red. That's pretty
In
great.
service of Forerunner Shield World, designate Requiem.
Requiem. At least we know where we are now.
Why do you
Let's see if we
care?
can tell
You
us
just
what
want
the
to shoot
Covenanters are
things.
interested in.
They're gonna try to make me care about Master Chief.
I don't know.
Because I
Get
already
locked
do.
up.
I care about him as a blunt object.
I'm detecting power fluctuations in several locations. I'll put them up for you.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come around to it.
Hopefully we can
Because, like,
find some way to
obviously,
get this
I assume that this is
photographer
going to be
back
the game
online.
where Chief gets more character development than he's ever had in ever. And, like, I don't know if I need Chief to have that. You know, maybe I might just be fine with that.
What's it doing?
It's all right. This energy is actually a ferroelectric data field. Your shields are just cycling in response to the chamber's charge.
Will
That's
this bring the cartographer
actually
back
kind of
online?
interesting.
Partially.
Ferroelectric, so they've just
This type of
stored
processing
information
system usually
as...
works in parallel. We'll have to locate
Yeah,
its twin.
ferroelectric would just... That's just electromagnetic forces, so... They have now just started to store data as electromagnetic waves, and they contain it as a field, so your body can just soak it in. That's cool, honestly. Because I mentioned that, like, back in the day,
The Covenant. They found a way inside.
you know, the thing was that the Covenant are one advanced faction, and the Forerunners are more advanced than them. And the Forerunners show up way less frequently than the Covenant. And then in the same way, humans are less militaristically advanced. Nope, less technologically advanced, more militaristically advanced. Because everyone wants to believe that Space America's got the best, you know, even if we don't have the most funding. I feel like that's a big part of the, like, military fetishism and, like,
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
wish fulfillment of Halo.
AI Cortana to infinity. Please respond.
The idea that,
No response. But from the strength of that signal, the infinity has to be close by.
the idea that
The
there's somebody
cartographer
less
should be back
well-funded
online.
than Space
You
America.
may be able to use it to track the ship's location.
I feel like I tried to articulate that point in Halo 3, and you didn't get me across very well. I love this storm rifle.
We can't give the Covenant access to the cartographer. Clear them out.
I'm working on it. Again, what's Chief gonna do if not just shoot a bunch of things? I mentioned this a little in Halo 3, but Halo 3 has way more like chatter in your radio compared to 1, 2, and especially ODST. And like, I don't think a single one ever helped me. Like, what's Chief gonna do? He's gonna shoot things. Chief may as well be a gun. Just point him in a direction, and he'll start killing things. You know? The reason that the good guys get so much done is not for their superior tactics or anything like that. It's of their ability to point Chief in the right direction, the way one would steer a giant cow, you know, into a china shop. Steer a
Now
cow.
quick, to the cartographer.
Do these guys not count? Eh, fuck them, I guess. I gotta plug my USB girl in.
The cartographer keeps acting like the transmission is coming from everywhere on the planet at once. It doesn't want to triangulate Infinity's signal. Oh, wait. I got it.
That can't be right. Scan again.
We've already passed through one layer of the planet's surface.
You know,
it's not crazy to think that someone else made it deeper inside than we did.
I will say, it is nice to see, as much as it is an oxymoron, it is nice to see a little military intelligence from Chief.
There's a terminus on the
Because
far
earlier
side.
I commented on how dumb he
We can
must be
portal
by
to the
not
planet's core
immediately
from there.
figuring out that rampancy's the problem for an 8-year-old AI with a lifespan of 7 years. But like,
If we have a shot at getting you back to Infinity, we're taking it.
it is good to see him use his brain smarts. He's also using his hearts. Maybe, you know, he's uncomfortably bonded with, you know, an AI doomed to die, and relies on her for all of his
Let's get to
social
that terminus
interaction,
and
but
find Infinity.
I don't know. Maybe I'll come around to this. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite Halo. I certainly don't suspect that it's going to top Reach or ODST. But you know what? It might be better in my mind than Halo Wars. And boy, would that be a blessing. But I'm going to cut this episode here. Thank you guys for coming. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, everyone. I've been Alfred. This has been Halo 4. And I'm going to beat it for the first time. So, yeah. See you guys.